The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of Bronxnet or the program underwriters.
Coming up on today's show, he's a resident drummer at the #1 hip-hop club in Las Vegas. He produces for over 90 major artists and companies, including Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, NBA 2K, Madden 19, just to name a few. And most of all, he's right here from the Bronx. Multi-Platinum Music Producer joins me next, right here on Perspectives, with yours truly, Daren Jaime.
Let 'em know. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? Let 'em know. Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life. Make a difference. What's your perspective? Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective. What's your perspective?
And hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Perspectives. I am Daren Jaime. And of course, we thank you for joining us. You can see Perspectives every week here on Bronxnet's Channel 67. If you've got Verizon Files, of course, that's Channel 33. Anytime on the web, Bronxnet.org. Also invite you to stay connected to us via Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, we encourage you to visit my professional page on Daren C. Jaime. That's on Facebook. There you can get some inspiration, some information, and some things just to keep you connected. And as always, that's what we do here, sharing our perspective. Talking about perspectives, we got a very special guest. My guest in studio, now born and raised in the Bronx. From his humble beginnings and his love for music, he pursued his dream of working in the music industry. As I said in the open, he's produced for over 90 major artists, such as Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, French Montana, among many, many more. If we named them all, we'd probably be here for the whole show. He's also one of Sean P. Diddy, well, now known as Diddy Combs, Bad Boy Hitman producers. Yeah, he's currently touring with the world and R&B singer Trey Songz as music director and drummer. But most importantly, he gives back to the Bronx, helping young people learn the business of music. It's an honor and a pleasure to have my brother, Antwan, Amadeus, Thompson.
My brother.
Multi-platinum producer, musician, and educator, multi-platinum.
What an amazing intro, man. What an amazing intro, man.
It's an amazing work. I mean, you did the work, so we could honestly say that. When you hear that, first of all, what is that? What comes to mind?
I was hoping you asked that. You know what? Just it's humbling. It's a blessing. You know, oftentimes, and I'm sure you can relate. We work. We push. But sometimes you just gotta just sit back and enjoy the fruits of your labor. You got to sit back and think about where you've come from and all that you've accomplished. So just to hear you, recite those accolades and accomplishments, it's like, man, oh yeah, oh yeah. And
I remember that.
I remember that.
Because sometimes you work so much you don't even remember.
You're focused on the next thing. You're focused on the next goal. You're focused on the next dream, the next artist to work with, the next idea. And it's like sometimes you need, like I said, just sit back, relax, and really appreciate those moments. Because one, I'm still here. I'm still able to do what I love to do each and every day. And it's a new opportunity to improve. It's a new opportunity to increase that number that you've called out. So It's a blessing, man. I'm glad you asked that.
So my history right now over the last 12 years, I fly to work. I get up every Wednesday and I fly to work and I come on down and I do my show. And I'm like, I'm coming from Syracuse and I come down here and I do my thing.
Right.
But you fly to work in a different capacity. You're not flying. My flight is only 40 minutes, an hour.
Yeah.
You're flying literally to Las Vegas every week at
Yes.
the #1 hip-hop club.
Yes, sir.
Talk to us first of all about that experience, about commuting between here and Vegas.
I remember when I used to be scared to fly. And I was obviously way before I started touring with Trey. I've been touring with Trey Songz for 11 years now. So I had no choice but to figure it out and get used to it. Being in the air and touring, the States and touring overseas and all around the world. So to be on a flight every weekend, it definitely has its pros and cons. Fly Delta.
Yeah.
So shout out to Delta.
You a million mile yet?
Not
So,
yet,
okay,
almost.
almost?
I'm diamond right now. I just made that
Yeah,
going
okay.
out of 2018.
Okay.
So I'm pushing for it, man. But you know, it's comfortable up there, man. It's comfortable. It's peaceful. You know, of course, no one loves turbulence. But you have to learn that that's a part of the process.
Right.
You know, and you kind of can apply that to life where, you know, everything is not going to be perfect. Everything's not going to be smooth, man. Sometimes you need a few bumps in the road, you know, just to shake you up, to keep you on point, to keep you grounded, to know that, nah, man, you got more work to do. But just knowing that everything's going to be okay. So no matter how shaky and rocky it gets up there, you know, you say your prayers before we take off.
Right.
And you just know that it's going to be okay, man. So I've been doing this for going on 3 years now. So like you said, it's kind of challenging being up in that
So
air, man.
explain to people what happens when you land. You got a job to do. What's the job that you actually do, and how does it work out?
Yeah, I'm the resident drummer at Dre's nightclub, and it's unique. It's a new opportunity. Most times when you think about residencies, it's artists. It's artists, it's DJ. So every time I mention it, they're like, "Oh, you're a DJ?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm a musician. I'm a drummer." And it just seems so much more cooler when I say that. So basically, you know, I land. You know, they take great care of me, man. I'm grateful of the whole Dre's team. The driver picks me up, takes me to the hotel. I take a little nap, you know what I mean? Because I'm working on East Coast time, and they're basically 3 hours behind. So when I land at 9 p.m., it's 12 a.m. here. So I take a little half-hour power nap, get ready, go to the club. I get on the drums, play alongside the DJ Franzen, and it's a dope moment. Basically, it's just like hearing your favorite songs and favorite records out, you know, now and in the past, and just hearing a drummer play on top of those songs. So it's a more fun experience. The songs and the beat patterns obviously feel bigger, sound bigger and better, and people love it, man. People love it.
And you got celebrities rolling through there.
Oh yeah, it's you know, like I said, you know, when you think of residency, it's artists. So Chris Brown is a resident, Trey Songz, 50 Cent, T.I. This weekend I'm gonna be there. Migos, Ty Dolla $ign, 2 Chainz, Snoop Dogg, Big Sean, French Montana. So it's just each night you get a different performance from a different artist, and I just happen to be rocking all 3 nights with my homie DJ Franzen, man. So you give me 3 times.
That's it.
Give me 3 times, man.
What's it like? I know that's the big question people always ask. What's it like? Because when you look at, you know, you produced, and we talked about working with Chris Brown,
Right.
Jennifer Lopez, French Montana,
Right.
Remy Ma, you know, and just those artists. We hear those artists all the time. You have one-on-one relationship and working with them.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
It's amazing. It's amazing to be able to consider these people friends and brothers and sisters of mine that are extremely talented. You know, those that I once heard on the radio and admired their sound and admired their music to, you know, to eventually being in the studio with them and creating songs with them, man. So it's definitely a dream come true, and I'm never jaded by it. You know, I often listen to songs that I produce and just sit back, man, like, wow, that's Chris Brown, or see a video that's shot and hearing the song in the background, what, you know, the visuals of it, to hear artists perform it on stage in front of, you know, a huge audience. So it's an amazing experience, man. And it's like I said, it's something that I'm never jaded, and I can never get used to that. I'm always in awe by it.
So when somebody asks the job of a producer, what is your job as a producer?
Great question. Because there's a producer and there's a beat maker, and often you might have heard that conversation is kind of like a debate on what people consider themselves to be. And you know, in my earlier days, I would say, man, I'm a producer. Don't call me no beat maker. I would look at it as disrespect. But now, 2019, I would consider myself both, and I'll explain why. A producer's hands-on. Producer's in the studio. If we're recording a song right now and you're in the booth and you're saying, you know, a certain lyric, I might say, you know what, try it like this, Daren. You know, let's skip a bar. Let's take this hook, let's fly it here. You know, I'm gonna add something else to this beat. I'm gonna put some keyboards, I'm gonna add some chords, I'm gonna add a bass line. You know, I'm gonna make that snare drum a little bigger. You know, so that's producing, that's hands-on. But nowadays, you know, with all of the technology that we have today, a lot of artists are kind of doing their own thing. So if I send you music, you can go in your own studio, record to it, boom, you got a song. So a lot of times, a lot of the music that I have out right now, I wasn't even in the studio with those particular artists. I wasn't in the creative process in regards to creating that song. I created a beat, sent them the beat, they created a song, recorded to it, and there's times where sometimes I can hear and be a part of the mix, and then sometimes I'll hear the song for the first time when you hear it as a fan. You know, so that's pretty much, you know, where we're at today. And I would prefer, of course, to be hands-on, to be in the studio. But like I said, with technology, things have changed, and it's just about getting down and, you know, and adapting to where it is right now.
Coming back after the break, we'll talk a little bit more with Amadeus right here. I want to talk about some of those names. We hear a lot about the names, but I want to talk about the work and what's required when you get this job. Because listen, a lot of times we hear all these great celebrities, but there's a lot of work that goes into it,
sir.
what needs to be done. I'm gonna give him a quick, brief question to think about during the break. Who's the most demanding person you ever worked for? Gonna take a quick break. He's gonna think about it. It shouldn't be too hard.
I got
He'll
the
have
answer.
the answer when we
I
return.
got the answer.
Right after this.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen,
Double points with every purchase?
cleverly merging promotions,
Love it.
cross-referencing travel sites, and booking all your flights with those.
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh, but now they're like, aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted
Continuing our conversation with platinum producer, musician, educator, Amadeus. As we said, he's produced for over 90 major artists: Chris Brown, Jennifer Lopez, French Montana, Remy Ma, Papoose. Oh God, he's got so many names over the course. And I asked you a question before the break.
Right.
Who's the most demanding person you ever worked for?
It's got to be Mr. Songs, Mr. Trey Songs. And I say that, like I said, we've been touring for 11 years. So as his music director, it's a lot on the shoulders, man. You know, when you're putting together a live show, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of ideas, a lot of thoughts. And you want to give the people the best experience you could possibly give them. So the pressure's real. You know what I mean? The pressure's real, but I enjoy it and I love it. So I don't really look at it as pressure. I just kind of go in, you know, knowing that I'm in a position. So he obviously trusts me to deliver. And we've done a ton of tours, man. We opened up for Jay-Z on the Blueprint 3 tour, opened up for Usher on the OMG tour. We've did our own tour with Trey Songs, El Varner, and Miguel, introducing those two, both of those two artists. Did another tour with Big Sean when he first came out, introducing him as an artist. So, you know, it's obviously I'm like, okay, it's been a success.
Yeah.
I'll do this. So
Yeah.
it's gotta, you know, you gotta talk to yourself like
Right.
that sometime, man.
It talks to me about J-Lo, because, you know, she's from the Bronx. We
Oh,
love the
she's
Bronx.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
She's awesome. I remember, you know, when we was working on the song "Same Girl," produced by myself, my brother Chizzy from LA, and I got a phone call from her one day, and I've never forget it. I was in the living
Your
room,
phone rings and she calls.
and I was like almost cursing out in a way. Like I said, "Hello, it's me, Amadeus," and Amadeus speaking. "Hey, this is Jennifer." I'm like, "Jennifer who?" "Jennifer Lopez," and I'm like, "Come on, man!" Like, I'm hanging up on you right now, and I did. I hung up.
You banged the phone
absolutely,
on her.
absolutely. I'll never forget. I hung up on J-Lo and I hung up on Fantasia.
What?
Yep. You know, because Fantasia has that voice and it's squeaky, and I was like, "Who's this little girl playing on my phones?" But back
Right.
to J-Lo. But yeah, she called back, and it was like, "No, this is really me." Like, all jokes aside, this is really me, and I'm like silent for like a whole 2 minutes, like. And she called. She's very hands-on. She had some notes for the track. You know, I want more strings, and I wanted this part to do this, and she was like, you know, I'm very hands-on. She said it. I'm very hands-on. You know, I don't believe in having like my people call you like, this is my song, this is my track. I love it. I'm excited about it. So I want you to hear the excitement. I want you to hear my voice and what I need done to it. And she's like, this is what I need done, and how soon? I'm like, right away, Mrs. Lopez. And she's like, no, just call me Jen. right away, Jen.
Yeah.
You know, and just amazing, man. And
you said you hung up the phone on Fantasia too?
oh yeah, I was in Florida. I was in Florida, and I knew one of her background singers, and I did some work with with Fantasia before, but we had never met and spoke. So she heard of me, she heard my music, wrote to some of my music, and she's like, "Hey, this is Fantasia," yeah. And I was like, "Boom!"
Right.
And back then I had to boom. I had to flip joint. So
Oh.
bow.
Right.
And she called back like, "No, this is Fantasia." I said, "Sing."
That's what you said.
And she sung, and I was like, OMG.
I just banged the phone twice on Fantasia.
And she was like, I just want to say I love your music, and we got a show tonight, and because Trey and her performing the same night.
Oh, okay.
And her background kind of like singer put us in contact. So you know how like there's a middle person, and that was a situation with us. There was a middle person that had my music that was feeding her the music, but we never got a chance to connect on our own.
Right.
And she just kind of used the background singer as like, Amadeus? I've been trying to connect with him, and passed her my number, and boom.
And so with all these names that we dropped, I want to talk about two things. Number one is the balance that you have to create for relationships, because you have to maintain these relationships.
Right.
When we look at people sometimes, the average person looks from a star perspective. You got this business relationship that you have to maintain and talk about it, because if it goes bad the first time, so give us a little insight into the balance of relationships and what people need to know, first of all, if they're trying to deal with a celebrity,
right,
and the mistakes that, we know the common mistakes that people make.
Right. And you said it, like relationships are key. And I feel like that's the reason why I keep getting phone calls back. That's why I keep getting, hey, I'm working on the next album, I want you on it. You know what I mean? And it's just about being cool. It's about being humble. You could be the most talented person in the world, but be the coolest person in the world at the same time. It costs you nothing to be cool. So I think that's key as well. And just kind of knowing and getting a feel of a person and an individual and respecting what it is and knowing how to maneuver. Like everybody has personalities, everybody has certain ways, everybody has demeanors, how they carry themselves. So it's about being able to adapt to each individual person. And I think I've mastered that.
Yeah.
Some are standoffish, some are open, loud, wild, fun. Some are more reserved. So you just got to be able to deal with each one and be willing to adjust your personality and adjust yourself as a being to deal with those people. Because pride and ego. If you're suffering with big, huge ego and pride, this is not it.
This ain't the place
This
for
ain't
you.
this ain't it.
So you use this word like balance, right?
Uh-huh.
So balance is necessary. So talk to me about the personal side, because you
man.
got family, right? And
Wow.
here you are flying to the other side of
Yeah.
the country, and you're balancing this. You're on the road,
Right.
on the tour. How do you balance work and family? I mean,
Great
I
question.
struggle with time management
Absolutely.
all the time.
It's challenging, man. It's challenging. I think the best way to answer that is having the right support system. It's having people surrounded by you that understand and get it. Now, don't get me wrong. It comes to a point where the queen is like, enough's enough. You're not doing that. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. You're staying home. Or I'm not allowing you to go there because I can look at you and see that you're tired, you're exhausted. You need to sit down somewhere. So you need that as well. But a support system is very important. My kids understand, they get it. They're excited about it. I include my family as much as I could. They've been on tours. They've been backstage. They've seen me set up. They've been to sound checks. They've traveled different cities. So they get to see it for themselves and kind of develop an appreciation for it. So Daddy's going to work. Oh, God. No, it's like Daddy's going to work. What is he going to do today? Who is he going to work with today? Who is he in the studio with today? So it's kind of an exciting thing. But like you said, balance is key. I haven't perfected it, but I think more so of having.
I don't think nobody really perfects
you
it.
can't,
When you're on the
can't.
grind and you do it, I'm nowhere near you, but I know, I got
You
my own grind, but I know that you people look for it to be perfected at a
Right.
certain point, right?
It's impossible.
And it's impossible because stuff is always changing,
Right.
And the dynamics always change.
Absolutely.
But it does take a smart person to say, listen, I need to put this balance here, though.
Yeah. You don't want to be doing, you don't want to be doing all these amazing things out in the world and when your career, and you come home to an empty house and a note,
Right.
saying, peace, we out of here.
Right.
So you got to figure out and you got to find the balance. But like I said, I think the biggest thing is support and a family and a team that's surrounded that understands the grind and what it takes and don't necessarily pull from you, but push you.
Stay with us, because coming up, there's another component to Amadeus' life, and that is faith. And we're going to talk a little bit about how he weaves faith and spirituality in the work he does every day. Stay with us here on Perspective. Be right back in a few.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
I did. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Did you know that strollers have the right of way on the sidewalk?
Yes.
Yep, I did. Did you guys
Did you know that kids who eat breakfast have higher GPAs?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. That's actually what I was going to say.
Did you know babies should never touch silver? It's really bad for them.
I knew that.
Did you guys know that statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I'm putting that on my blog.
I just put it in mine.
Continue our conversation with platinum producer, musician, and educator Amadeus, who doesn't mind giving back to the community amidst all the celebrities that you work with, all the stuff that you do. You still make time for the people in your community.
Have to, man. Have to.
The Bronx is home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we did this first.
We did this first,
You know,
right?
shout out to the Black Panther and all that.
Right.
Wakanda forever, but this is us, man. This is BX. So
we
somebody's suing somebody.
Yeah, we did Bronx first. and you grew up in the Bronx.
Absolutely.
Faith is a very important component to you.
Big.
Church.
Yes.
Before you ever became this world-renowned R&B hip-hop drummer, you also got the church component.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about it.
That's the ground, man. That's the foundation. You know, growing up, parents are very strict. We went to Catholic school. Myself, you know, all my life.
Which Catholic school?
I went to, I started at St. Augustine School of the Arts, which is, I think, now Harriet Tubman Charter School. They had closed the school down. And I recently was able to return, and I'm like, oh, wow, the building still stands. But it's where I actually started drums. So I started at St. Augustine School of the Arts, went to Christ the King on the Grand Concourse, and then finished off at Carnal Hayes on the Grand Concourse.
I'm a Rice man.
Yeah, we
all right now.
If you was from Mount,
then we have a
I
problem.
would just like walk off the set.
Right. You
Like
can
right
handle
now.
Rice. Rice, Cardinal Hayes, right.
Yeah, we ain't that bad.
All right, so we got a little relation. So give me this. You know, you talk about how growing up in church and church was that important, right?
Right.
But you actually use this every day.
Yeah.
Because there's this thing about believing in yourself that
Absolutely.
you have to have.
Absolutely.
When you're working with these high-profile people.
Right.
There's an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But there's also this believing in yourself piece.
Right.
So marry those two together for me and how
love
you're
that.
able to do what you do.
You know, one of the things that I've learned with meeting celebrities, artists, athletes is that we're all the same. You know, growing up, you'll want someone's autograph. You'll want a handshake. You know, you'll want a picture, and then you feel like, you know, you look at like people like Michael Jackson and people touching them and fainting and all that different thing. And I was like, oh wow. So if I got meet Jay-Z and I, you know, give him a dap, I'm gonna pass out. Like, does it work like that? And then when you meet Jay-Z and you shake his hand, you're like, well, nothing happened. And you learn in that moment, it's like, we're the same, man. We bleed the same, we go through the same struggles, we have the same fears, but it's just about believing in oneself. You know, Jay said, you know what, I don't want to be on the corner no more. I kind of got this little rap thing I'm doing, and I believe in myself, and I'm going to go. You know, same thing with Usher, same thing with Trey, same thing with Chris Brown. It's like, you have to believe first in yourself. You can't sit there and wait for someone else to say, hey, man, you're great, you're dope, you're amazing at what you do. It's like, I think I have something special, it's something unique, and I want to share with the world. So I think that's very important. For me, in regards to faith, it's what I made up of you know, God. I understand that God blessed me with these gifts, blessed me with these talents. When I walked in the class in 4th grade, never touching drums every day in my life, sit down and was able to mimic every beat pattern that the teacher played, that's a gift. It's not something, I wasn't taught that. I never touched a pair of drumsticks a day in my life. I never touched any musical instrument. So to be able to have an ear for music, I'm not classically trained, I can't read music, but you know, you're listening to my music every day. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's these artists, whether my scores, so it just goes, it just tells you, and I say it all the time, you don't have to be the best to be the best.
Right. I didn't give all the full props. You know, he's got on the, you know, the NBA jacket.
Yeah,
He came out
except
of
the
All-Star
starter.
game. Yeah, starter, and he got a little something with starter, but also did 2K19 and ESPN First Take.
Yeah.
Madden.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Music is music, man. Music is music. Music is worldwide. It's global. And I learned that touring. You know, when we're in Japan and you know, they're reciting Trey Songz lyrics when we're in Australia. And, you know, Like, I'll give an example. I was in Australia, and it's a different time zone, of course. So I wake up.
A day ahead.
Oh, man, it's so
Right.
bad.
I know, man.
Woke up one day in Australia, in a hotel in Australia. I leave ESPN on. I fall asleep to it, wake up to it. Turn it on. They're showing Mello. This is right before the Mello trade. They're showing highlights of Mello. In the background is my track. And I'm sitting there like, I'm in Australia with ESPN on, watching Mello with my music in the background. And I'm like, what is that doing down here? Because it's down bottom.
Yeah.
What is that doing here? And it just goes to show you, like, it's everywhere.
Right.
It's everywhere.
Got a little less than a minute and a half. What is it that you haven't done that you wanted to?
Wow. I haven't worked with Jay-Z yet. I haven't worked, like, in my own right, like music producing Beyonce. I haven't won a Grammy yet. I haven't won an Oscar yet. I haven't gotten the key to the city yet.
But some people would be
You
like,
know,
just to be a multi-platinum producer right now, they would say,
I'm grateful. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. But it never stops here. You know, there's millions of artists around the world. There's artists that have never been heard that I need to help. There's people that want to be producers. That's why I teach the music business. You know, so it's like grooming and building up the next era, the next greatness.
So much to talk about, but yeah, you do teach music too.
Absolutely.
And you also take care of young people as well and give back to them. How do people connect with you?
Instagram, Amadeus PBM. PBM standing for Platinum Boy Music. Also have Platinum Boy Music on Instagram. On Twitter, producer Amadeus. Shoot me a DM, holla, shoot me a comment. I try my best to respond. You know, I show love.
Yeah, well, between touring, flying every
tough.
week out to Las Vegas, and coming
Family.
back with Friday to Tuesday, and then living the life with the family, trying to balance that out.
We went to the Trolls experience this weekend.
Say what?
The Trolls experience.
You did?
In the city. You know, my son and my daughter got their faces painted. They put on the wigs and everything like that. See, stuff like that is important. You got to balance it out.
And it gives you life.
Yeah.
It gives you life.
Yeah.
Come on back, man.
Whenever you have me, man.
It's been great having you.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
No, man,
Thank you.
it's been my pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have Antwan, Amadeus Thompson, our guest here in studio, multi-platinum producer, musician, educator, as we said. He's done things with over 90 name brand celebrities, ESPN, 2K, the whole 9 yards. And the reason why we take the time to say that is not just because it's what he's done, but it's to show somebody the opportunities that you can have if you just stay on the right path.
Absolutely.
So, Amadeus, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
and share
Thank
with us.
you, man.
As always, my brother. Look, that wraps us here on Perspectives. Daren Jaime said, we got to go. But before we leave, make sure you share your perspective with somebody else. It'll make a difference in somebody else's life. Take care, everybody. God bless. We'll see you soon with a brand new episode coming up next week.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know. Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions.